A couple of house cleaning items, and that is, does everybody see this bicycle up here? It is for raffle. So if you send your business cards to the center of the aisle, we'll pick those up and we're going to raffle this off. Now the catch is that you have to pay for the shipping if you're on the other side of the country. But I will take care of that. I'm going to ask the Lieutenant Governor at the end to draw for the raffle. Also, thank you to the San Diego Association of Realtors and National Association of Realtors for sponsoring this session. And thank you everybody for coming. To the gentleman's question about bike share for San Diego, they're my clients, so I'm glad to talk to anybody about that. But basically what we did was over 100 meetings, community outreach, organized meetings, emails, letters, and engagement to share how bike share is a new mode of transportation. New York was very successful in the sense of saying that this is the first new transportation system in 100 years since the subway. We present that to the beach towns, the other parts of towns where the bike share is going, and we can talk about the economic impact. And it's not about taking away cars, but it's about putting in bikes and people that are going to be coming and going regularly during the course of the day, increasing business and the economy. So I just want to answer that question. And from what we heard from Charlie, Leah, and Jen is about on national scales and the state scale. And in San Diego, we have taken a lot of those little snippets and used those accordingly to the respective elections that have been going on in the past couple of years. Now, some of you are familiar with the fact that we've had about 3 mayoral elections in the past 2 years. But what has been great is that there have been voters lurking, bike voters, the urban cyclists lurking among those groups, and the candidates and the candidates for mayor and for city council have taken on to the fact that there is this new realm of voter. Now you guys are familiar with the terms of NASCAR dads and soccer moms. Well, now we have the urban cyclist, as Leah was talking about, or we call them the velo voter. And so let me see by a show of hands how many voters are in here. All right, and Matt, you got to raise your hand for this one. Let's see how many cyclists, casual, daily, roadies. Okay, so we have this great demographic, and we've seen the same thing in a wide, diverse demographic in San Diego from these organized groups coming out and the candidates soliciting their vote on a multitude of levels. And what we've also been able to do is work with the organizations, the coalitions, the advocacy groups, and the different groups of voters to have them come out and support respective candidates so we can talk about the things that are important. As mentioned, infrastructure, safe routes to schools, open street celebrations where you move the cars out for a day and you're able to walk, shop, stroll, dine. We did one here this last Sunday and we had 15,000 people, no cars on the streets for 2 miles. Businesses go up 50 to 200% on that single day. They love it. In Los Angeles, as mentioned, they're going to move towards doing that on a monthly basis. Now, what does that mean? As the picture showed, there's voters, just as the same group of diverse voters that we have here. The bike voter is lurking among us, and we can organize them and bring them out for the respective candidates. So, as what we've experienced is the bike coalitions came out during the 2 mayoral elections ago and had a questionnaire and said, will you fill this out? We want to know where you stand on infrastructure, safe routes, safe passage, and how you're going to spend city money and allocate it towards all these things that are important to us as homeowners, as parents, as business owners, so people come and go to our respective places, or we're able to connect. And so once that was done, I was able to join that coalition and say, let's make it bigger and better. Let's have a little bit more transparency. That being that rather than just take the questionnaire, let's do a speaker series and have candidates come out and speak to us. And so then the candidates are like, wait, yeah, we'll come out and we'll talk to you. And then we're able to get them on record. But it's also a platform that's adding to the standard and respect. Any San Diegans here? Oh, I see a couple of you. Okay. So the mayoral races, the issues have been Qualcomm Stadium, Convention Center. Okay, so and then it switched towards this last election towards neighborhoods first. So what does that mean? It's parents wanting to have a home value, wanting to protect their children, have a nice place, a nice yard, and to have that connectivity and that feel that neighborhood as their own. So that shifted a little bit. We saw a physical presence with candidate Alvarez saying, well, I'm going to go out there and physically, and you can come. There was a bike fundraiser. And so the local business was there, the advocates were there, a diverse group of socioeconomic. There were rich people, there were poor people, there were people, community worker, people that worked for the community organizations, there were people that worked for the city that joined that campaign and rode around the neighborhood to see what was so he could listen to what was important to them, and they could share that on a one-on-one basis in a very transparent environment. So then, should he win, you're able to take that, you have that connection and that transparency. Secondly, so since he had a physical presence, candidate Faulkner went more in the cerebral route. Let's do an op-ed. Let me connect with the leadership one-on-one and have a discussion with them so we have a real intimate exchange. And the groups, the advocates, the organizations were in that position where they're basically able to hedge their bets from both sides. So they have that dialogue and that conversation. And what we see in my experience, I've been involved in politics, I've been involved in a lot of community operations, is that for candidates, for your clients, this is a niche that they can work with and take forward that's going to connect with the community in a far more substantive way than your standard stump speeches between the stadiums, convention centers, et cetera, because of the economic value, because of the property value, neighborhood value, and those values that they take to heart as they make that city their own. So, and the big thing for San Diego has been a discussion about alternative energy, sustainable energy, and alternative means of transportation. We have the only electric car share program in the country. We have bike share coming like many cities. And just a note, if anybody's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, you have 30 bike share stations in your city. I'm very proud of that. It's exciting to see from the big cities to the small cities getting on, and as Jen mentioned, 90 by the end of this year. So the economic value in Chattanooga to San Diego to New York to Chicago, et cetera, and Florida are really taking keen to that. So we know the voters are out there, and we know that they can be organized on multiple levels, and it's finding the nuances. So it's an exciting time, it's a valuable time, because then we are able to continue to work with those candidates for a bigger and better platform and for the service that they're able to provide to the city. And so we have the data-minded folks that are here, some of you guys, some of the grassroots, and also from an organizing perspective. And these, the purpose again is the nuggets that we can provide and share with you that's happening in San Francisco, Long Beach, San Francisco, from the leadership of the Lieutenant Governor and others across the country, your clients that can take this a step further. And so with that, I'd like to introduce the gentleman who has that real world, real time experience and is going to share some of thoughts and some of his time as mayor. I give to you the Lieutenant Governor, Gavin Newsom.